Let's break down what actually happened this week because price doesn't move randomly. It delivered into liquidity across multiple pairs. And remember, this isn't about being right or being wrong. It's just about understanding where liquidity is and then how price move between those levels from liquidity to another liquidity. So starting from the Nasdaq, we started on a weekly basis. We mapped the liquidity, the areas where we are looking at. We looked at the range for the week between those range and those range. All these things we already mapped out. So we dropped into a lower time frame to actually see what happens within the week. The areas we mapped out was price delivered into those levels. Remember, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about mapping your liquidity and knowing exactly what price is, where price might likely be drawn to. So we mapped out the liquidity. We said we are looking at our first on liquidity to be this zone, which is the 24,500, and that area was an area on the daily time frame, which was a fair value gap on the daily time frame, and see how price delivered into it beautifully. Price opened on Sunday, tapped into the weekly gap. This is a gap on the weekly, respected that zone and moved straight to the first draw on liquidity. Pricing continued to go up because we said if price continue to go up, we have this place which is an order block also on the daily before the weekly order block, which is this. But the first draw on liquidity was respected as at Monday with a huge move, and then price kind of stayed and consolidated between the Tuesday and Wednesday and started to drop on Thursday. So as at Friday, this is what we have on US Tech. Price moved down and closed at this particular level on US Tech. So actually shows a sign. It shows a shift in draw on liquidity after the first draw on liquidity was respected, which was this. So price moved and shifted its draw on liquidity to the downside, even surpassed the monthly fair value gap and continue to go down. As at Friday, price closed at this level, the 23,076.50 level. So if we move down to the British pound USD, let's see what happened. Was the area fulfilled? Did price respect those zones? All these maps are the daily trading for those that trade daily trading. These are the day you can figure out that on your daily trading you might not really have much between the Tuesday, Wednesday until Thursday and Friday. That was when price gave a reason to gain much in the markets. So moving down to British pound USD, also we mapped out liquidity using our weekly time frame, and this is our lower time frame on our 1 hour chart. We can see also the price, the market resumed as at Sunday and dropped on Monday. Respected. This is a gap on fair value gap on 4H. Let's go to 4H and see what happened. So market opened and respected this fair value gap on the 4H and then traded up. Our first draw on liquidity from our narrative, our analysis as at last week Sunday was the first draw should be this high, which is an old high on the daily time frame that we mapped out that we are expecting price to get to that line and to take out liquidity. So price actually took out liquidity. So our first target was hit as at Monday as the market opened, and the second one was this other block on the daily time frame, which price never got to that particular area before dropping, just like the US Tech also Monday, Tuesday after the huge move, the expansion on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was more of a quiet day, and price started to move more from the Wednesday and Thursday till the Friday, and price got to this particular level as at Friday, as you can see. So the first draw on liquidity target was hit for that of British pound USD and for that of US Tech. So actually liquidity above was taken, but price never continued to go higher. It reverses, which led to the downside liquidity being sick by the price. So what next? We move to our to the next page, which is Euro USD. On British Pound USD, we are able to achieve our targets, both the up and the down, even though we didn't continue more of up to this level, but each zone that was mapped out was actually fulfilled. So we move to the Euro USD and see what happened on the Euro USD. Just like the US Tech and the Euro USD, price traded into the order block as of Monday. This is a daily order block that we are looking at price to hold. So price traded into that area and respected the zone. We drop to our daily time frame and see how price moved. Apparently, we were expecting price to get to this old high on the daily time frame, but price only got to the order block on the daily, took out the previous week high, which was this high at the level of 1.1618 level. So price took out that level and then gave a little rest between the Tuesday and started moving on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is where we are. So first, the order block was respected, just like we were expecting, but never got to the older high on the daily time frame, but respected the previous week high and the order block on the daily time frame. That was what happened on the Euro USD. Our full target was not really fulfilled, because if I was taking this trend, I overlooked the order block. I might actually be targeting this particular zone unless I have taken partials. If not, the price would have gone down to take out the stop loss. So for Euro USD, yes, it went well, it did well, but didn't fully reach the target or expectation that we narrated on our channel. So then we move to our next pair, which is the British Pound JPY. What actually happened on British Pound JPY? The market opened and respected all the zones or the area that was mapped out. We can see that the markets came back as at Monday, reacted to the order block on the daily, which we were expecting price to get to. That is the 211.683 level. It respected that, and then price started to go up. That's the order block on the weekly, sorry, the 21168 level. We respected it as at Monday, and we're expecting price to take out those liquidity, the liquidity. So price went up and hits. If you check here, price took out liquidity as at Thursday. It's just a little liquid. That liquidity was on the weekly time frame. Price took out that liquidity and reverses. So this particular pair, you can see it. It took out the liquidity here. If you look at it very well, it took out the liquidity and reverses. So this particular pair, even though it wasn't moving as it should, or the movement wasn't much, but it fulfilled all its targets, hitting the order block on the weekly time frame that we are looking at for, and then moving upward, took out liquidity on the weekly time frame that we are also mapped out for. So we can say that the British pound JPY actually fulfilled its narrative. It shows a clear example of liquidity taken on both sides, respecting the order block on the weekly time frame and then on the daily time frame, and reaching out for the weekly highs, and took out the liquidity before reversing after that. So we move to the last pair, which we'll also analyze and see if the USD JPY apparently held on what was analyzed. Our expectation was for the price to at least drop and take out the lows, the previous week lows, or tap into the fair value gap on the monthly before it continued to go up. But apparently, as you can see, price never got to those levels. It didn't get to the old low. It didn't get to the fair value gap. So this before it started to go up. So this actually did a different thing. It came down but never got to the levels I expected it to get to. It only dropped into the fair value gap on the daily and on the 4H. It respected the fair value gap on the 4H and never got to the daily lows, old lows on it. So this is where accountability matters. This is where accountability matters. So you can see that this didn't actually get to where I expected it to get to because I overlooked this. So the downside liquidity remains unfulfilled, and price continue to press higher, reaching for the monthly key level, which we've already mapped out before now. So price continue to press higher. So we can apparently say that the market, does not move in a straight line. Market moves into liquidity. They move from liquidity to liquidity. That's what market is searching for, is looking for liquidity. Your duty is to find out where those liquidity are. As you can see, all the liquidity mapped out from the British pound USD, US tech, Euro USD, JPY, how price react as the market reopened on Monday and did what it's supposed to do. What it's supposed to do. Your duty as a trader is to find out where the liquidity are and use it for your own advantage. And that is why we map out liquidity before the market opens on liquidity narrative, just to make sure that you at least been able to tap into those areas and see what market will do on that area. Do not trade blindly. Remember, it's structure over speculation. That is our liquidity narrative.